Support for this episode has been provided by Ratio Keto-Friendly Crunchy Bars. If counting macros makes your head spin, count instead on a snack by Ratio. They've done the math for you, so you can spend less time studying the label and more time enjoying your day. Delicious and convenient, both their toasted almond and lemon almond flavors have 2 grams of net carbs and a unique combination of sugar and protein, all in a satisfying crunch. Interested? Ratio Keto-Friendly Bars are now available in the granola bar aisle at Walmart.
The Cricket Badger Podcast IPL Daily, in association with Moonrise Cricket, Indian Premier League 2020, 13th edition. Every day, every game, every spill, every thrill, every triumph, all the way to the IPL trophy.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's another Cricket Badger IPL Daily Podcast and blimey, honestly, where do we start with this one? First of all, we'll thank our sponsors, Bodyline, TShirts.com and Moonrise Cricket. Thank you to them for their support of this IPL Daily Podcast. But Kings XI Punjab, it's they kind of, will they? No, they won't. Yes, they will. No, they won't. Oh, they just get over the line. And today, they just proved that they can, or that they're capable of losing any match from any situation. But they just managed to get across the line against the Royal Challengers Bangalore today and giving themselves a little bit of hope in the IPL table. They moved to 4 points. And they're not done and dusted just yet. To help me talk about that and to talk about tomorrow's game, Anand, Bhika and Naman Shah. Anand, we'll start with you. Kings XI Punjab, they had that absolutely in their back pocket about 4 overs out and managed to find their way to the final ball.
Almost like they didn't want to win this. That was a fascinating match, especially the last couple of overs and how things were shaping up. You knew that they had it in their pocket, but it almost felt like it got close enough for no apparent reason. But I would say well bowled to Chahal, especially for that last over. That was beautiful bowling up there.
That one he tossed up and gave it a real rip to Chris Gale. He thought that was going to be a wide, didn't he? He left it alone and it nearly took his off stump out.
And the dear gall about tossing a ball up to Chris Gale. I mean, the universe boss, however old he is, he can still hit that all the way back to India pretty much from there. And that's just beautiful stuff. And you could see how Gale really wanted it to be a wide, but I just give Chahal a lot of credit for that.
Now, man, that was some game, wasn't it? How it managed to get to the final ball, I will never know. But Kings XI, they've given themselves just a little bit of hope, haven't they?
Yes, they needed this energy. They needed their Caribbeans. They needed this win very badly. I was very, very happy with KL Rahul's captaincy today. I guess he was spot on. The bowling changes, everything was just brilliant. And he paced the inning quite nicely compared to the other games. He targeted the bowlers. And yes, very happy for Punjab keeping this hopes alive and groups open.
All the way through the RCB innings, the commentators on the TV I was watching were saying, why is AB de Villiers batting so low down? And he came out and he got 2 runs from 5 balls, I think it was in the end. But it seemed a bit strange, didn't it, after the way he played the other day, not to stick him a bit further up the order and allow him to do a bit of damage today.
To be honest, over here, James, it was quite a bit of a cat and mouse game going on. If you will notice, both Kohli and AB de Villiers are always vulnerable to the leg spinners, to this wrist spinners, and they specifically played Murugan Ashwin today along with Bishnoi. In the first match, the only match which Punjab has won, in that match also both the spinners took 6 wickets. So it was these 2 leg spinners, and Bangalore moved ahead to lefties to counter those bowlers. But smartly Rahul bowled all the 4 overs of Maxwell. So that was a big game of chess going on. AB de Villiers, if you noticed, when he just came and the next over Murugan Ashwin bowled and he was struggling. Also, Kohli was not able to take on the leg spinners. Also, Shreyas, Gopal, everyone, if you have seen, Zampa has always taken Kohli's wicket from Australia. So I think it was not much of keeping him behind, but it was more of threat of these 2 leggies.
BodylineTshirts.com. Browse the finest collection of cricketing t-shirts on the web. Hundreds of original cricket designs for cricket players and fans alike, featuring everyone and everything from Larwood to Leach. and cow corner to chin music at bodylinetshirts.com. And you can get 10% off your first order using the code BADGER at checkout. bodylinetshirts.com. T-shirts for the discerning cricket fan. Anand, looking at the Kings XI top order there, KL Rahul, he's now got 448 runs in this IPL. Mayank Agarwal, his opening partner, has got 382. The next best in the competition is Faf du Plessis with 307. Kings XI, if you actually go back through their games in this tournament, they could quite easily have another 3 wins under their belt. They could be on 10 points now and looking at almost guaranteed playoff. It's bizarre, isn't it, that they've got the 2 best batsmen in the competition in terms of run scoring, and yet they're really struggling to win games.
Very bizarre, but I also think sometimes the strategy has not helped them out. The first game that they lost, I feel Mayank could have just knocked it out for a single and gotten the win. So you're right. They've absolutely lost, I think, 3 games that they should have won, and they would be probably at the top of the table or close to the top of the table, unlike now where they're at the very bottom. I'm also curious whether they have trust in Maxwell and Puran. And they've kind of shown that even with the last few matches where for some reason they don't want Maxi going up early. Now, sure, Maxwell hasn't exactly lit the tournament on fire, but I think at some point in time, you got to give the trust out to those batters and say, okay, get it done. And I feel KL has sort of taken a step back. He's not as aggressive. I think today was slightly different. He did look like he was going to be aggressive and take on the bowlers because he certainly has all the shots. I certainly hope that this change that they have makes their bowling a little weaker. But if Gale gets going and Gale can hit a few sixes, it should be interesting.
Naman, the universe boss is back, isn't he? He 53 today, and he hit 1-4, added 5 more sixes to his record-breaking tally. Regardless of who you're supporting in this competition, it's good to see him out there, isn't it?
Absolutely, James. They needed him very badly. He should have been in the playing 11 2-3 games earlier, but sadly he got ill and he was hospitalized. But yes, they needed him. They needed this energy. They needed all the troops to fire. I was quite happy with their bowling also. And yes, Chris Gayle gives them that benefit. Even if 70 odd runs are needed of the last 5 overs, they give that chance with Gale in there with Maxwell and Puran following. So I see them, this top 5 are the biggest. I think they will be a surprise package if they get going from here on.
Anand, looking at RCB, Virat Kohli was fairly phlegmatic about the defeat today at the end of the game, but they're on 10 points now from 8 games played. They don't want to get into a losing habit, do they? Do they just tick this off as one bad defeat? They've lost twice to Kings XI. Kings XI's both wins are against RCB. Do they just put that down to a quirk of fate and just move on to the next one?
Some quirk of fate, some of it is also execution, and some of it's strategy. So I think Naman just spoke about how they wanted to go with the left-right combination, also didn't want to get AB out to a leg spinner. But if we think about it, AB is arguably one of the best batsmen in the world. He's played pace, he's played spin, he can do well with everybody. When you look at Dubey and Sundar, they scored 36 runs off 33 balls. Give AB those same 33 balls. AB is going to score 50 at the very minimum, or 60. He's striking at 180 this tournament. So I think you want your best batsman to really play the most balls. Even if AB takes some time against a leg spinner, well, let him take his time because you know how quickly he can catch up. So I think some of the strategy has been interesting, but certainly you take your punch. It's the middle of the tournament. RCB is in a good place right now. So maybe that was Virat's thinking, but I would be surprised if you again have both Dubey and Sundar go ahead of AB going forward.
I heard Sonny Gavaskar say the best batsman should face the most balls, but if every team's set up like that, you'd have AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli opening the innings, etc., all the way through the 8, wouldn't you? You do have your positions in the order for a reason, don't you?
Certainly, but I think, when we think about also when Dubey walked in, that was the 10th over. And I think 60 balls is fair enough for AB to walk in. If you want to manage your top order in a way that you have the right batsman at the right moment, that certainly makes sense. But at the 10th over or the 11th over, AB is a great person to walk into. He could probably take his time and then tee off. And as Morris showed at the last minute, I think Morris got, 24 runs from Shami's last over that was bowled. AB had a couple of those overs easily in there. So it's interesting. I certainly think it wouldn't make sense to maybe put Virat and AB right at the top, but that might be strategy that needs to be tweaked from RCB.
What about you, Naman? Where do you stand on RCB now? I think they've been really impressive so far in this competition. It just wasn't their day today, was it? But would you be too worried if you're an RCB fan?
Yes, I will be worried because the pitches are getting slower and slower. And apart from Kohli, he is the only one who wants to stay over there till the 20 overs. Rest of the players need to step in, especially Sundar and Dubey, as Anand mentioned. Also, Finch is not that in form. He needs to fire. He needs one inning, a big one, to stay there. Apart from Kohli, at least they need. Yes, Padikkal is firing, but since the pitch is now slower, first 10 overs they are only able to score 60 to 70 runs with Finch and ABD in top 4. I guess they can do much better than this. Few other players needs to step in, and also their bowlers, specifically Siraj. He has gone for plenty again, and they need to think about that factor too.
Well, Claire Sanderson will be a happy Badger fan this evening. Her team talk last night that she delivered has inspired the Kings XI to win by 8 wickets today against the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Moonrise is a sports engagement website to allow sports fans to learn from the very best. Get a personal video message recorded for a fan's special occasion. Have a professional cricketer as your next coach by getting video feedback or having a 30-minute conversation with some of the world's best players. Players such as Jimmy Neesham, Colin Munro, Tammy Beaumont, Danny Wyatt, Monty Panesar. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. Gentlemen, let's pick out Moonrise moment of the match. Start with you, Anand. Where would you take me for your moment today?
So there are a couple of good moments during this match, but I think I'll go with Shami's 18th over. So that over led to 4 runs and 2 wickets. And the first one was AB de Villiers. So I think AB de Villiers got a full ball outside the off stump and ended up spooning the catch to mid-off. And then 2 balls later, you saw Kohli get completely flummoxed by the slow bouncer, go for the hook, hit his glove, and go to Rahul's hand. So 18th over, 4 runs, 2 wickets. That puts you behind. I think this match would be a lot more closer if AB or Kohli, either of them, stayed back. You could easily look at maybe 15 to 20 runs more added to the total. So at 185, 190, the universe boss took his time to get going. I think it was 20 of 18 balls or something. So, some of those margins go away. So the match could certainly turn a little. So to me, that over was a match-turning moment and the Moonrise moment of the match.
My Moonrise moment nomination today is the moment that Christopher Henry Gale got to his 50. He turned his bat towards the TV cameras and pointed to Universe Boss on the back of it. And everybody was chuckling because they realised it was upside down. I just thought that was quite funny. And when you saw his post-match interview as well, he just held his head in his hands because I don't think he'd realised that he got that little moment a little bit wrong. So that's my Moonrise nomination. Naman, how about you?
I'll go with Murugan Ashwin. I guess from 6th to 15th over, he just absolutely sucked all the runs. He was bowling absolutely brilliantly, all the wrong ones and the leggies. And even Kohli was really struggling against him, and I was shocked to see that he was giving too much respect to Maxwell and he never went on to attack him. I guess the phase from 6th to 15th, they sealed the game over there. Every time we cannot expect ABD to deliver there in the last 3 to 4 overs. But I guess Murugan Ashwin, 4 overs, 23 for just and 2 wickets. Even in the earlier match, he was the one who took 3 wickets. I'll give to him. That was the best moment.
Sorry, Anand. Sorry, James, but I'm going to go with Naman there. I think Murugan Ashwin, I think he bowled beautifully today and he's 2 for 23, as Naman says. That is our Moonrise moment of the match. Want to get your game the very best it can be? The future of coaching. Talk to a pro. 30-minute video conversation. Video analysis from players at the top of their game. Video shout-outs. Get a personalised message from a pro. Great for birthdays, congratulations messages, a prank or a simple hello. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. Guys, let's have a look ahead then to tomorrow's game. And Mumbai Indians, who have played really nicely in this tournament so far, are taking on Kolkata Knight Riders. Anand, you're our Mumbai Indians fan, and Naman, you're our KKR man. And I'll start with you, Mumbai Indians. I mean, we've seen every team in this competition can beat anybody. You can't take any result for granted. But KKR, from my perspective, have been a little bit hit and miss so far. They need a few more players to stick their hands up. It's, there's 3 or 4 contributing. The others are fairly quiet. If I was a Mumbai Indians fan, I'd be quite confident ahead of this one. How do you feel?
I think Mumbai Indians are firing on all cylinders. So, you feel confident that they'll put up a decent performance. The biggest concern, though, to your point, is Russell. So Russell right now, after 7 matches, has got 71 runs at a strike rate of 142. This is not the norm. This guy is by far the most explosive batsman, I think, in the IPL. The last couple of years, I think he's been around 180-ish or so. So if he goes at that strike rate, eventually he's going to have one match where he comes back. So that's certainly something to worry about. Also, Owen Morgan. Morgan's looked good. He hasn't looked great. And you know how great Owen is. So I'm just curious how that's all going to play out. The law of averages dictates that Morgan for sure is going to come good one of these days, and so is Russell. So that's going to be the biggest worry for Mumbai Indians. However, they certainly seem to have the pace attack to counter both of these guys. Owen and Russell both don't love short pitch bowling, and Mumbai has got the pace attack to give that to them. So it should be a great matchup. Looking forward to it.
The one thing, Anand, that the 2 guys that you mentioned have is that it's kind of like a bit like Maxwell, isn't it? The big show kind of mentality. It's sort of against the Mumbai Indians, who they know are the defending champions and one of the best teams in the competition. That's going to get their juices flowing, and that makes them even more dangerous in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you've seen it in the past, right? Russell and Morgan, definitely, both of them have come up trumps on big moments, and you know that they'll be raring to go. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. Morgan certainly has been in decent form even coming here, and he's done okay. Russell has looked off color. His bowling's actually been much better than his batting, so he does contribute a lot to the team, but I'm curious to see when that batting explodes, because if it does, it's going to be spectacular.
Naman, KKR, they have played Mumbai Indians 26 times in the IPL. They've lost 20. What's going to be different tomorrow from your perspective?
I guess they need to set their rules first. I guess, as Anand mentioned, there's too much dependency on Russell. And also the pitches are getting slow. Batsmen are taking their own time. Nitish Rana, whether it is Morgan, but they are leaving a lot too much for Russell to come and fire. Like every time, like 5 overs and 80 runs, 100 runs. These are not the pitches where they will be easy coming and get going, striking everywhere. You are seeing Hardik Pandya, you are seeing Maxwell. It's not easy for these finishers to just come and whack every ball. And also the bowlers have now become smarter than before. They know how to bowl to this attacking batsman. Also, I am slightly disappointed with Pat Cummins. Yes, he is bowling quite nicely, but it's hard to digest that he has only taken 2 wickets so far in the tournament. He is far much better bowler than what the stats suggest. And also, they should have gone with Rahul Tripathi as an opening batsman. He sealed one game for them alone. There was no need to make any changes. Yes, they could have used Banton as a floater. But too many changes going around, and yes, Rana, Morgan, Karthik all needs to pitch in.
Anand, I had an interesting chat with Daniel off our podcast on the WhatsApp group the other day when he was saying, why don't teams just go from the start and just hit out all the way through? It doesn't matter if you're all out for maybe 220 in the 15th over, just maximise your power shots kind of stuff. And I know he didn't mean hit every single ball, but, attack. And I don't subscribe to that, but I also don't necessarily subscribe to what I'm seeing in this IPL so far, where teams are kind of like trudging through those middle overs and then exploding in the last 4. They seem to be leaving it very late to hit for home at the moment, and with wickets in hand as well. Why do you think that is?
Great point out there. I think I always go back to the fact that we have a finite resource of 120 balls. So certainly we need to take a look at the pitch. We need to take a look at the matchups, the bowler, and the bowling in that specific over. But it certainly seems like a lot of these teams are taking a little time to get going. And I almost wonder whether is it because of the rust. A lot of these players have not really played a lot. Apart from England and arguably Australian players and West Indian players, not a lot of these players have had a lot of cricket in 6 months. So I wonder whether they're not ready to get going from the start. We've seen some of the more explosive players not really do a lot. We already talked about Russell, but I think Pant might be also a good example. Pant's done okay. He hasn't done bad, but Pant is also can be much more explosive. So I'm curious whether some of these batsmen are starting to feel the rust and they're not ready to get going right away.
What do you feel about that, Naman? The teams do seem to be waiting until the 16th over or something. They have that time out, and then all of a sudden start to hit through to the 20th over. Whereas it does seem, this can be when they've only lost 2 or 3 wickets, and it does seem that they don't take the gamble early enough at times.
Yes, sir, just like we saw today, every time you cannot just expect EBD come and whack every ball. So the thing is like it's a more of a mindset I feel. Pitches are getting slower, but batsmen need to rotate the strike. And over here, what's happening is all the batsmen are taking around 15 to 20 deliveries to just knock the singles and doubles. And just when the momentum starts, they lose their wicket. So this is happening, and they are leaving a lot for the finishers or the sloggers to hit too much which is not possible, and the bowlers are just exceptional. Look at Rabada, look at Archer. It's not easy to whack them for 20 runs in the last 4 overs. And also, if you see, many teams are now trying to get more runs in the first 6 overs. You saw Curran being promoted, you saw Stokes being promoted. So it's more of hitting in the first 6 overs, but they are also trying to tend to lose more wickets in first 6 overs, and then the flow they are not able to sustain till 16th over, and it's too much to do in the last 4 overs.
RCB's defeat today means that Delhi Capitals stay top of the Indian Premier League. They have 12 points. Mumbai Indians can go back on top of the table with a win over KKR tomorrow. They're on 10 points from 7 games. RCB stay on 10 points after 8 games. KKR could go up level on 10 with the other 2 teams if they win against Mumbai tomorrow. SRH, CSK and the Rajasthan Royals are on 6 points after 8 games. And KXIP, congratulations to them today. They have doubled their points tally. They're up to 4 points now from 8 games and certainly not out of this competition. Naman, KKR in 4th place at the moment. Give me a percentage chance. How confident are you that they're going to make the playoffs?
I am pretty much confident. I'll give them 70%, but just all the guns need to fire. It's not just about Russell and it's not just about Shubman Gill. All the guns need to fire. All the players need to pitch in, especially at Cummins. Much more is expected from him, and that's not just restrict the runs, but also Mumbai will be in trouble if they will be 10 for 3. Bring in Pollards and Pandyas early in first 6 overs, or maybe from 6th overs onwards, trouble them with the new ball. This is what I want to see tomorrow.
Yeah, Pat Cummins, 2 wickets at an average of 111 so far in this IPL. Anand, same question to you. Percentage chance, confidence of Mumbai Indians making the final 4?
So I think Mumbai Indians are in a great position right now. I would give it almost a 90% chance of making in the top 4. If Mumbai Indians actually go on from here to get on a massive losing streak, that would essentially mean that we've actually had a couple of injuries or somebody's gone into a massive loss of form. Because if you look at the team, pretty much everybody has batted well and bowled well. So I feel fairly confident that they should make it. It's not a mathematical impossibility, though. So hopefully a few more wins and Mumbai Indians are in the playoffs.
I think this season, with everybody beating each other, 12 or 14 points might even be enough to qualify for the Final Four. Delhi might already have enough. Not that we know that just yet, and they certainly can't rest on their laurels. Naman, Anand, thank you for joining me today.
Cheers, James. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers, guys.
And thank you to you for listening out there. Thank you to Bodyline TShirts.com and Moonrise Cricket for their support of the IPL Daily. And we, of course, because it's daily, will be back with you around about the same time tomorrow. I've been James, and I'll see you then.
Thanks for listening. Join us every day throughout IPL 2020. Follow us on Twitter at cricket_badger. Join in the fun. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Support for this episode is brought to you by Mrs. Meyer's. A delightfully clean home can make for a delightful start to the day. At Mrs. Meyer's, everything we make is inspired by the garden. With plant-derived ingredients, our cleaning products work like the dickens, leaving your home sparkly clean and your to-do list tackled in no time. So bring a little bit of the outside inside your 4 walls and bask in the wonder of a garden from the comfort of home. Mrs. Meyer's, rooted in goodness. Shop now at mrsmeyers.com.